we got him. Okay, so I've been doing this tile installation thing for a very long time, and along the way I've been able to witness some really bad installs and some really poor workmanship. Even though I've seen and torn out plenty, I didn't have many pictures of tile jobs gone bad. So I asked the N.T.C.A., of which I'm a member, and specifically Mark Heinlein, to help me out. The N.T.C.A. is the National Tile Contractors Association, which is a non-profit trade association dedicated to the professional installation of ceramic tile and natural stone. I'll upload a video about the N.T.C.A. at a later date, specifically about them and what they do. But for now, I just want to say they're a great organization that strives to improve the tile industry by training and education, as well as supporting members and making the whole industry better in every aspect. So the purpose of this video is to shed some light on what happens when tile is not installed according to accepted industry standards and methods, and when inappropriate materials are used. There's a common misconception that tile is easy to install and it can be done by anyone. Well, there are certainly cases where that might be true to a certain extent, but in the vast majority of cases, this attitude is going to lead to failure of the tile installation and possibly to extensive damage to surrounding areas of the installation. Take, for example, a shower stall. It is absolutely imperative that water be managed properly by installing the appropriate waterproofing system to contain the water within the shower and prevent it from penetrating into the wall cavities or escaping into areas where it can do damage and create rot, mold, mildew. There are numerous systems and methods which must be installed correctly. Take, for example, a traditional shower with a vinyl liner under the shower floor. But the pre-soap is also only part of the entire system. There are many other considerations and steps that need to be done to have a successful, long-lasting, trouble-free shower. All too often, steps are omitted, the pre-slope is left out because the installer either doesn't know it's needed or they just don't care, or both. This can lead to failure in short order. The liner is only part of the system and must be installed with a pre-slope under it to direct the water to the weep holes. I actually have a video explaining how the system works, and I'll put a link in the description below. There are also so many other options available today to build a shower other than the traditional liner system, but all of them can and will fail if they're not installed properly. So when you hire an installer, it's important to find out if they are competent or not. Water leaking is only one type of failure. Another thing that an uninformed installer likes to do is to spot bond the tile. Now, the spot bond method is another recipe for disaster. This method is popular because it allows an inept installer to get a nice flat looking floor or wall without doing the needed prep and without a lot of effort. But it's doomed to cause loose and cracked tiles, at the very least in dry areas, and the accumulation of moisture in wet areas. The insert adhesive is not designed to be globbed on in thick mounds of mortar and will shrink and pull away from the tile and leave it unsupported. The tile needs to have at least 80% coverage in dry and indoor areas and 95% coverage in wet and outside areas or exposed areas. So not only does the correct type of mortar need to be used, but also the correct coverage, which also means the appropriate trowel for the type and size of tile. These are just a few of the reasons tiles can become loose or unbonded from the surface. There are many other reasons. For instance, skinning of the thin set, contaminants on the back of the tile, bond inhibitors on the surface to be tiled, and countless other reasons. This is yet another reason why an experienced and qualified installer is needed. Another issue that constantly arises and is often ignored is the necessity to allow expansion and contraction of the tile surface and the substrate. Too often they're omitted because the installer doesn't understand why they're needed and will install the tile tight to the walls or the baseboard without leaving any room for the tile to move, to expand and contract. This will often lead to tenting of the tile, which will happen when there's nowhere for the tile to move but up. Saw joints and cold joints and expansion joints in concrete slabs will often also be ignored and bridged by installing the tile right over them, resulting in cracks along the length of the joint. Many times the installer will just ignore the needed requirements because they don't know what the requirements are, and that's just how they were taught to do it. And often the job will look perfect when it's finished, but the problems will start to manifest in a very short time. I could go on and on with stuff that I've seen and reasons installations fail. But the point is that none of this has to happen. Tile jobs don't have to fail. If you're going to hire an installer, do lots of research, ask lots of questions, know what products are going to be used, and have an idea of how they should be installed. You don't have to know all the details, but you should know enough to be able to spot a problem. Another tactic is to hire a qualified installer that has an accreditation. And this is also where the N.T.C.A. can help. You can visit their website and find a contractor in your area that you can be sure will install your tile according to industry standards. I'll include a link in the description below to the N.T.C.A. website, and in the description I'll also include a couple of other links to some other videos I've made, and as always, don't forget to subscribe, and if you have any comments, please leave a comment below in the comments area. Thanks.